Showtime, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shogun Zorra, and thank you for tuning in. And yeah, now JJK is officially over. Last Sunday, JJK came out with this last chapter. It's kind of crazy that JJK is now over. Always been Kageyama was always talking about JJK is going to end, but now it's really over. But yeah, I want to give my reviews about the ending about JJK. I also want to talk about a few things I wish they would have done differently, and my overall thoughts of the series itself. But yeah, now you're gonna hear my thoughts about the ending itself. I want to go back with the chapter where Megumi, Nobara, and Yuji fought against Sukuna. The thing is about this moment is I find it sort of like the final clash against Sukuna a bit lackluster in the end. I mean, the right ending, especially with Yuji Black Flash. But the thing is, because it fits kind of lackluster, because the Black Flash was like almost like a normal Black Flash we've seen Yuji doing at the end. It didn't feel like as grand or as special or crazy as it is. Example, when we look at other series, example like series like where they have like grand final move to showcase like the final moment that needs to be remembered, and that's one of the big highlights. Example, if you have Dragon Ball Z, Gohan vs. With Gohan the Father-Son Kageyama was something different we've seen, like compared to Gohan's normal or Goku's normal Kageyama, but they used something big. Or example, Goku vs. Kid Buu, Goku using the Genkidama to utilize everybody's strengths and not his own, and like creating something highlight the scenario. Or Naruto vs. Pain, especially with Naruto at the end stopping Pain with just a Rasengan. Well, it's a big. Or Luffy with Lucci in the final moment where Lucci almost gave up. Luffy came back with Gear 2, and there's Gongo Jet Gatling. Gongo Jet Gatling gun. So yeah, this is something that's highlighted, but the Black Flash wasn't even the best Black Flash we've seen Yuji doing. I feel like we have seen better Black Flash in the same fight against Sukuna compared to this. I feel like it would have been cool. Example, when Yuji, when he's about to do the final Black Flash, Yuji has like thoughts about all this different fight, all the different moments, and then bought his fist so hard it starts blood coming out, but instead of blood it goes to black sparks, and then I feel like, while Gex are incredible artists, I feel like something he would have been more crazier, but unfortunately he can't because Gege was also very sick. But it would have been crazy if we did something like that, and then that's the one of the best Black Flashes with different reaction from potentially everybody else. Something doing this, make it more phenomenal, more grand, more memorable, just being Black Flash. The thing is also, when we look at other series, example Inazuma 11, right? The final match in Inazuma 11, the original one, where Inazuma Japan, our main team, versus Little Gigant. We see everyone when they did like the final, about to do the final shoot against the versus the Little Gigant is the final match. We can see like everybody was physically spirited, invested in the final shot. I feel like this should have been also in JJK, like a final moment, brings everything together into the final Black Flash, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Also, the thing is, one thing that annoys me, didn't like is the moment Sukuna got defeated, it immediately went to Megumi waking up, and everybody was already there, so it's almost like everything concluding all this situation what happened, and I didn't like it, especially if, example Inazuma 11. What they did in Inazuma 11 after our main protagonist Mark won the football championship, Football Frontier, it didn't really end it directly in the final at the graduation. It also he had one extra episode of everything tidying up, really having a conclusion to the arc itself. But it feels like in JJK we didn't really have that. That's kind of feel unfortunate. In Inazuma we had like everybody celebrating, saying goodbye to everyone, and it sort of feels like the conclusion to an arc itself. But the conclusion in JJK, it doesn't feel like it has a conclusion. It's something cut, so right to the ending itself, and it feels like kind of left field. And the thing is, one thing about Nobara is Nobara coming back. I didn't have the problem itself, but I kind of feel like it was, for me personally, a bit lackluster because it was kind of bit. The moment we saw Yuji didn't have two fingers anymore, because one of the fingers Sukuna snapped, and the other finger was, we got the information that Yuta or Rika ate it, so could use Yuta can use Cleveland with his mantle. But the moment we found out there's one finger left, I think it was obvious. I feel like he could have done enough to be more like, feel like a bit more last second, because that happened in two different chapters. One when Sukuna realized, and then we see Nobara is the next chapter. If this would have happened in everything in one chapter, it would have been more crazy, because it feels like he cut the momentum directly off. So let's want to talk about in chapter 200, about chapter 269. Yeah, I feel like it made me try to apologize about all the things that happened, but it sort of got dismissed, and I feel like also half of the chapter was not really necessary, because half of the chapter was about the stuff they could have done or prevented. But I feel like if you would have read the series, you would know why something couldn't have be like that. Example, why they didn't use curse speech of Inumaki way earlier, because you would think if they had that option they could have that Sukuna way earlier, but because if they would have done this, it would have probably not worked, because Sukuna was way too powerful, and they would have most likely killed Inumaki, and that's just, yeah, kind of messed up, I would say. Yeah, when we go to like examples, yeah, so half of this chapter was not necessary. They could have done so many different things, explained many things also that was not mentioned or really fully explained. So half the chapter was sort of but now that I think about it, in the community, there's a lot of people still asking why didn't do this, why didn't send Maki instead of Yuta versus Kenjaku. But yeah. Also in chapter 270 we see Megumi and Shoko bearing Megumi's sister, and it's kind of messed up that Gojo didn't really get, I think he got burned to ashes, but I feel like it's cremated. Yeah, I feel like sort of messed up that Gojo didn't really get a grave. I know that Sorcerer are used to prepare that they to die, or the comrade dying, and that's just now normal and they have to move forward. But kind of weird is with Gojo was that that kind of weird that the thing is with Gojo was also the one who helped Megumi. Megumi was about to get sold off, but he also sort of took care. It's not like he was his father, but sort of took care of Megumi. And the fact that Megumi doesn't really show anything remorse-wise towards Gojo is kind of messed up, because yeah, why it's not Megumi's fault? It was Megumi's body that sort of killed Gojo. So yeah, and the fact that also Shoko see anything from Shoko, because Gojo is also Shoko's one of the only friends that we've seen. I know that also one thing is also that we see about the series often, that Gojo and his students are not as close as we want them to be. Example, we see to other senseis and series, but yeah, I feel like it's kind of unfortunate towards Gojo. I feel like Gojo's been, especially in the last couple of chapters since Gojo's death, been more a bit disrespected about him, and feels like no one really cares. Yeah, like I mentioned, it would have been nice seeing Shoko burying Gojo after one of her only friends in her teenage years. We've seen them all together. But the thing is also about the grieving. I feel like it would have been nice if seen all the other characters think about Gojo. But the thing is, like I mentioned, that because everybody's not as close to Gojo, I feel like we all sort of also with other characters we've seen throughout the series dying. I feel like with Yuji's the only character we've seen with the talk with Sukuna, and that he was grieving or thinking about all the other characters, and that's sort of what we got, like there from Yuji's perspective, how he feels towards other character grieving, and that I feel like that's fine with all the other characters, but especially with Gojo, it would have been more interesting to see all other characters, because through Gojo everybody sort of got linked together somehow. And then also we get the character conclusion to a lot of other characters that are still somehow left in JJK. And I do appreciate that he did this, but also feel kind of a bit annoyed with Takaba, because we see also in the chapter that Takaba is talking to someone, but we don't know exactly one. But the character looks identical to Kenjaku / Geto, and we don't know why that this, just to tease us, or what happened to what happened exactly. And we don't see it because of the bubble covering this speaking bubble. It's covering the face, and it's kind of feel annoying. You'd be like, damn, why? Also, we see like the final mission sort of, that with Megumi, Yuji, Nobara. I think with the final mission, I think it should symbolize a bit of the growth, not how they can handle it by themselves. Because we've seen in the previous arc, they almost never were able to do something, only except for one mission they did handle by themselves, possibly rest. Not really, but I think this should have shown that all of them grew stronger, and also the growth. And also I feel like it should symbolize the chance of a new era as Gojo is gone. Also when Yuji talked to the guy who was a bad sorcerer at the end. And also we got the conclusion of Sukuna character. And I get the idea that Gege wanted to do with Sukuna's character conclusion, but it kind of feels like it's kind of a bit out of nowhere in my opinion. The thing is that Sukuna fought for revenge should have been hinted way earlier to make more sense, because in my opinion the story portrays Sukuna as an ultimate menace danger, that he does everything for himself. He doesn't need any motive or anything. He does anything for his own pleasure, as it was almost like established when he fought Kashimo. He does everything for himself. He does everything. He doesn't need anything reason or something, or yeah. But also we could also explain that sort of Sukuna got persecuted, but for why? Probably you could have guessed because of how Sukuna looks. Sukuna doesn't look like a regular human, so that's why I would guess. But yeah, this is all sort of my thoughts and conclusion about the last few chapters we had. Now I'm going to talk about a few other things I wished they would have added on to the series, or things I feel that's missing and stuff. So yeah, number one, high-end era backstory. I know everybody was talking about we need a high-end era backstory, but for me, a lot of people want to see how Sukuna grew up. Because many people thought like maybe a broken hero sort of ish story, and then sort of they want to see something like that from Sukuna backstory and focus wholly on Sukuna itself. Well, for me, I want to see something differently, because one of the main issues I have with JJK is the world building, especially the clans. With the series talking about so much clans and stuff, we don't barely see any. Besides the Zenin family, we don't see anyone other characters, family and stuff. So I wish in the high-end era it would have been much better. I wanted to see how. Also, I want, of course, to see how Sukuna was in the high era, but not in Sukuna's perspective. How we see, I want to see how Sukuna was through the perspective of the other grade 3, the other sorcerers, like especially the grade 3 sorcerer family. We could have seen way more character and potentially also similar curse techniques that we know of that are different, a little bit different, like a precursor to the normal curse techniques that we have right now, back in the high-end era. I feel like this would have given great perspective how the grade 3 sorcerers were aware. We could have seen multiple characters, and we could have seen how they fought against Sukuna. Because Sukuna was the strongest of all time, so I want to see how they fought, and did they had a bit of challenge or anything. Of course, they ran out like gojo or anything, but I would have seen how these characters would have fought on like initial ideas that was Sukuna. And through that, also we could have seen how Sukuna became the way he is now, and also a little bit of the revenge aspect. Not the fully go directly deep in the revenge aspect of Sukuna, but a little bit, a hint for it, so he would link later on back to the conclusion of the chapter. So he would link everything together. I think this would have captured everything with Sukuna's character as a whole much more better and interesting. And we could have also seen also through high era Kenjaku how he was and how he was interactive with Sukuna itself. Also, one thing I want to ask is like what happened to Gojo's Kenjaku's body. Of course, if something in this video I've said and it's already been explained and I didn't realize that, please write down in the comment section below. Of course, I do make mistakes. Sometimes I forget. So please write down in the comment section below if something was already explained or anything. But yeah, it would have been really nice if, example, for Shoko bearing Gojo and Sukuna. But another Gojo and Geto. But now that I think about it, yeah, they most likely been like cremated, so their body cannot be used. Example, if Kenjaku's body would have, if Gates' body would have been cremated, then the whole event with Kenjaku would not have happened. And also that now that no one can really use Gojo's body anymore, I feel like we could have seen it as a little bit like Shoko having like, because when the body gets cremated, they have like in sort of in a pod, and I wished sort of Shoko had like a final talk with them, sort of while they're already in the pod and cremated, and sort of think about all the stuff that what happened to her friends. I feel like this would have been a final talk that would have also helped a little bit of Shoko's character. We could have seen a bit more how she felt with all this situation happening. While we see also Shoko now looks like giving up smoking. Throughout the series, we've seen, of course, Shoko smoke, and also when Gojo fought Sukuna, she was constantly smoking a lot, and also now she looks like she's giving up, probably going a different path after all these events. One thing also about the series we noticed that the characters don't care about Goku as much or like him that much. It's kind of a bit unfortunate. Of course, you could a bit understand because Goku has a bit of a cocky character and stuff, but it's kind of a bit unfortunate that we see Gojo thinking about the student a lot, especially wanting them to be the better generation, do much better than him, and also one day be forgotten. And it's kind of a bit sad. And example, also Gojo cares about the student, thinking about them, also training them. Also, example, the letter at the end, he gives all the characters, potentially all the characters letters, but we only probably seen it from Megumi and Yuji and Itadori. So he probably thought if he's gone, but then he would prepare something. And the fact we don't see anything from Megumi of all characters is kind of a bit disappointing. I feel like very disappointing. But yeah, also the whole plot in the Credit Game with the American military, I feel like it was really unnecessarily. It also feels like kind of dropped, and I didn't like this. It was unnecessarily. Okay, we got established that most of the curses and everything is mainly in Japan, but still it could have been explained differently or showcased differently. But yeah, that's kind of weird. Also, one thing I wish we would have seen it here: what exactly happened if someone breaks a binding vow? Because we've seen all characters do a lot of binding vows to get additional effects or powers, and I feel like it would have been great to see if someone would break a binding vow through Miwa. What I mean is this: it sounds kind of a bit messed up, but example, I want to see what because Miwa said she does a binding vow and she can never pick up a sword again. What happens, example, if Miwa just picks a normal sword? Does the binding vow punishment break happens now, or is the binding vow, example, if she really uses a sword, then binding vow punishment happens? Example, one thing a scenario could have seen is, example, when Kusakabe and nobody, example, jump in to help someone protecting them with simple domain. This could have been one perfect way showing Miwa not being useless but trying to help out, but then she gets punished for it. But we would have seen what will happen. Is she going to die? Is she losing her arms? Is she unable to use her arms anymore? Like, are they numb? So like a punishment, like what does kind of look like? This would have been very interesting to see. And then I think this would have been really great for Miwa's character, because sometimes I feel like he's useless, but in the end she was helping and protecting someone, but sacrificing her arms. One thing I would have loved to see is an introduction between Yuki and Todo, because they seem very interesting character with also what kind of woman do you like. I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Also, another missed opportunity I feel like is seeing Choso and Todo interact. that would have been really great, interesting interaction, because they both see Yuji as a younger brother. My brother, missed opportunity. I feel like. Also, one thing that's really sad is about Kenjaku's death. The death was lackluster. It was disappointing. Of course, it makes sense in the series, but it feels like Kenjaku being like the big mastermind, the big villain of the series. Potentially, I remember a lot of people thinking Kenjaku is the final villain of the end of the series. And the thing is, they could have done his death differently. If you think about it, Kenjaku's real sort of fight was at the end with Takaba. What they could have done is Chodo and Yutai fighting against Kenjaku, and then they're winning against Kenjaku like mid difficult, like they won the fight very close. And they would have Yuto could have done potentially if Yuta had like a curse technique where he would replenish his energy once a day or once in a while, then go to the fight against Sukuna. I think this would have made sense. At least we would have seen more of Kenjaku fighting and everything, because the really only fight we had, it was Kenjaku versus Tengen, Yuki, and Shoto. And the thing with merger, a lot of people were disappointed that the merger didn't came and everything. Of course, in the greater scheme of things, of the story itself, it's a good thing that the merger didn't arise, because the merger would have ruined everything, especially after, example, if Sukuna would have defeated and then the merger appeared. That would have been messed up. But they could have done the merger, have the merger directly be different. Example that, of course, the merger didn't come out. Example, what I think is the merger doesn't come out completely, but like only like few percentage on their character are trying to stop it before it's too late, before the merger fully comes up. This would have been more interesting and see a bit about the merger, and then in hindsight we are happy that the whole thing came out entirely, so everything would have been screwed. One thing I feel like about JJK I really wanted is before the Shibuya arc, because the Shibuya arc is such a big drastic arc, I feel like we should have had at least one small arc, not like small arc, but a small mission before the Shibuya arc with the Gojo, Yuji, Nobara, Megumi as overall as a team. Would have been very good, because we don't see that very often. The only time we interact, the first time mission was Yuji and Nobara, they fought against Cursed. Then the Cursed Room where Yuji died, that thing, and then the other one when they fought against Shoto's brother. I feel like we still have not seen enough of them all three together fighting. I feel like a good fight would have been happened before Shibuya incident. Also, I feel like with the backstory, hidden inventory, I feel like we could have had maybe one chapter or two chapters with Geto, Choso, and Gojo being like doing one mission together. This would have been really cool. But oh well. Yeah, that's overall my thought on Jujutsu Kaisen. While Jujutsu Kaisen, I like the series itself. Overall, if I have to give the ending, I want to give the ending a 4.5, because the ending feels like a bit. It feels not really concluded, in my opinion. It doesn't feel concluded at all. Also, we didn't get to see if the name of freaking Yuji's domain expansion. I feel like it was domain expansion being the pinnacle of Jujutsu, and we didn't hear the name of it. It kind of feels sad, but oh well. But yeah, overall, the ending itself I would give a 4.5, because it doesn't feel really concluded. There's many things they could have done better. They could have done to make conclude the series better. Of course, if you don't know, Gay was also very sick, had been rushed, and had got operated also, unfortunately. But why this is unfortunate, I have to give what I've been given. It could have been much better, but yeah, overall I give the chapter a 4.5. While the ending itself, it makes sense, yes, but it still feels like lackluster and also not really concluded as a series, in my opinion. But yeah, but overall, in the series JJK, I will give JJK a 7.5. If the ending was good, and maybe if the ending was maybe even at 7, I would have given JJK probably 8 or 8.5, because the highest, JJK has the big highest with all of amazing characters, especially Yuta and Gojo. Yuta being my favorite character. Okay, Gojo and Yuta being now my favorite character. Overall, I loved it. I enjoyed the series, and almost a lot of people thought potentially we get a part 2, like and another sequel with almost like Shippuden-ish, but I don't think so. I don't think I would. I thought this wouldn't really make sense in my opinion, because a lot of things, because it didn't feel like it was really concluded. That's why a lot of people thought about that. But oh well, that's it. Yeah, that's it for the review. My name is Shogun Zorra. If you enjoyed it, please one punch and like this video and share your opinion about the JJK ending. Let your life shine bright. Have a nice time, and thank you, Kageyama, for creating this amazing series that has been now following for 4 years since JJK the anime came out. See you next time. Bye.